Welcome to another episode of the Beefy Boys Breakdown, episode 166. We're going to be recapping the Nicolau Perez Fight Night card, man. And after a week off, it's good to be back, even though we ate all the dicks at the sports book.
Yeah, man, it was a tough week for us. Missing 3-star locks always hurts. Like, that honestly hurts more than not even... I guess, because it's like I have had 1 week, right, this year where I wasn't in the black, I was in the red, but I still returned money that week. This week I had zero return. If I'd bet everything, I would have lost everything. Sucks, but it was pretty much the 3-star locks falling is like when I miss those, I'm going to miss my bets because everything kind of centers around me having the 3 stars being the ones I'm relying on.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, we had 3 stars. Like, I had 3 stars incorporated into 2 parlays. You had one big parlay. We had method of victory prop bets attached to our 3 stars, or at least one of them. So yeah, it was a tough day. But like, honestly, like, I'm not gonna like panic. Like, I feel like a quarterback, you throw an interception, like, you gotta just be ready to go for the next play. Like, you can't scrap the whole playbook. You can't bench the quarterback. Quarterback throws a pick. You just got to keep going after it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I mean, we'll obviously get to it, but I mean, Spann by submission wasn't like it was out of the realm of possibility. He had one attempted in the fight, so it like, don't feel terrible about that. The JSP Onama fight goes to decision with each guy winning at least 1 round. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't feel like we were that far off there. Now the Nicolau, which we'll start on, you got number 5 Matheus Nicolau minus 185 taking on Alex Perez, number 8 plus 155. I mean, both of us, man, we were high on Nicolau and also low on Perez. This felt like kind of one guy going down, one guy going up. You know, it felt opposite pathways. Usually when you have those crossroads fights, it's pretty clear that like the guy that's on the rise continues to rise and the guy that's falling continues to fall. This fight was not that from the start. I'll be honest. Perez looked good from the start.
Yeah, I thought Cruz did a great job on the broadcast, kind of filling us in on what Nicolau was like looking for. You know, he was just like looking for that one shot, looking for that left hook, and he basically got caught while he was like waiting to counter. You know what I mean? Like, he kept letting Perez go first. He kept letting Perez dictate the action and the pressure and the pace and the volume. And I mean, he was at the bar passing up 8s waiting for a 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he also was allowing Perez to get off way too many long extended combinations and kind of be in the driver's seat. And it was giving Perez a lot of confidence to be in that position.
No, totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I gave Perez round 1. I mean, the activity, the accuracy, kind of like you said, the extended combinations kind of like blended with pressure. Like, I don't know if you want to call it a blitz or not, but extended combinations while walking forward. You know, some people may call that a blitz. But he's going to the body. I loved it. I love Perez's body work. And then he'd come back up top. Like, even just watching, it was almost impossible to tell, is he going to go to the body or is he going to bring an uppercut? Like, it was nice mixing up targets.
Yeah, and Nicolau probably landed one good punch, the check left hook that he hit across Perez in the first round. But other than that, Perez was defensively super responsible. He was making it hard for Nicolau to figure out where he could be successful.
Yeah, and I mean, this may be like a weird way to like phrase this, but there was literally one shot, and Perez was just putting together a body of work.
It's Dominic back. All right, he's back. We're good.
Everything's back on mine. All right.
Yeah. So
sorry
as
about
far
that,
as
folks.
the
Sorry about that, folks. Nicolau landed that one good shot, and you know, it was a good shot, but he would just put all his eggs in that one left hook basket, and it came up short.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess you could say put all the eggs in the basket. I don't know. This fight was weird. This fight was super weird because Perez just pretty much beat Nicolau to the punch every single way, every single time. I mean, I don't think Nicolau even put any eggs in any basket. I don't think he tried anything that worked.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just he was he landed one good one, it didn't work, and then it's like, okay, then what? But yeah, man, I mean, Perez second round comes to the cage, so we couldn't really get out of the way. He couldn't really, evade it because he was up against the cage and gets put out 2 minutes and 16 seconds into the second round in a 5-round fight. I mean, great performance from Perez. Gets a performance of the night bonus. I mean, I moved Perez up to like 6 in my power rankings. Like, I mean, he lost to Makayev. I would probably take Urseg. You know what I mean? Like, do I think he's going to knock out Urseg? Like, no, Urseg is more likely to knock him out. Yeah, I mean, Royval's there. He has losses to Moreno. I mean, I think this was more proving that Nicolau's not that guy than proving that Perez is that guy. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, that's 100% my takeaway is that I've been wrong on my Nicolau's the dark horse take. That's where what I learned essentially is that Perez, he kind of reminds me of Royval. He's on that same level. Like on his best nights, he can fight with the best guys, but it's not very often you get his best night. Now, last night we definitely did, but I think moving forward, Perez is a guy that I'll probably fade because now he's going to get even harder matchups, and I still don't fully believe in him.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. Yeah, I mean, I dropped Nicolau. See, like for example, like I moved Perez up to 6, and I moved Nicolau down to 7 in my power rankings. Like I still don't think, I still don't think Perez is like that much better. I think Nicolau had a dog shit game plan, and I think Perez had a really good night.
Yeah, I fully agree. I also have noticed that when you fight Perez, to get success against him, you got to be good at throwing leg kicks. And Nicolau threw like no leg kicks whatsoever, which was what was allowing Perez to just freely move around and throw those long extended combos and find success in the 5 and 6. And it's just like game plan was a big problem, but overall, yeah, I didn't see a facet where like a lane where Nicolau was gonna win that fight. Like in the 7 minutes that happened, I really just never felt like Nicolau was in the driver's seat at any point.
No, definitely wasn't in the driver's seat. Like he was basically like, like I said, putting his eggs in the basket of like a puncher's chance. Basically, like he's just like looking knockout hunting, counter hunting, and yeah, it didn't work out for him at all, man. I don't think either of these guys touched gold personally. Like after seeing that.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel as well. It's more of a like. I think Nicolau performed badly, and I think Perez performed well. But I think even if Perez performed his best, I don't think it's enough to beat Pantoja, or really probably even like an Urseg, to be quite honest with you. Now, getting into what's next for these guys, obviously Urseg fights this weekend. I think the loser of that fight fights Alex Perez.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think honestly, if Pantoja loses, he probably gets a rematch, I would imagine. And yeah, but if Urseg loses, I could see probably Fight Night main event. I could see that.
Yeah, you also have some juice here with, what do you do with Albazi and Kai Kara France? They're kind of just hanging out, so it's and I'm sure Albazi's sitting there saying he gets next to the title, so he's not going to fight anyone. KKF can't say that. So I could see Kai Kara France and Perez, although I think they have fought before.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to look that up. And then you got Makayev sitting there. But yeah, I mean, Makayev obviously fought Perez already and beat him.
Oh no, yeah, there you go. So
yeah,
Perez
flyweight.
Perez has not fought. Who am I thinking of here? Kai Kara France. So that would seemingly be what's next.
Man, honestly, bro, like where I'm at with flyweight, like I'm ready for this new batch, bro. I'm ready for Tyra. I'm ready for Filio. I'm ready for Estevam. I'm ready for Josh Van. Like I'm ready for Almabayev. Like, I'm ready for this new wave, honestly.
Well, what's super unfortunate is that if number 8 had lost to number 5 and continued his losing streak and been on a 4-0 losing streak, you would have seen Alex Perez been given to one of those guys, and one of those guys would have been able to make their climb and their rise. But unfortunately, now it's like bottlenecking more again, because when these older guys continue to win and make resurgences, they get the shots before the young guys.
Yeah, totally agreed. Except for like Ursay is some weird exception to this rule, which I'm kind of here for. But no, I totally agree, man. But let's keep it pushing to the co-main.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I think they like the Urseg push so much because he actually like stands and strikes. He doesn't. We've had a lot of grappling champions at 125 recently. And I think the UFC is happy to see a guy that is full striker. I mean, they try to give Manel Kopp that same push, and they're not giving Makayev that push. And I just wonder if it's a stylistic thing.
They did.
They're tired of the grapplers at 125. But like you said, we will keep it pushing. Light heavyweights up here next. We took a ticket on Spann by sub. Felt really good, honestly. This fight ends up finishing at Ryan Spann minus 190, Bogdan Guskov plus 165. Ryan Spann is ranked number 11 at light heavyweight. This is one of those where I thought first round, Ryan Spann looked great. I was stoked about our bet. I was like, oh, this is how this fight's going to go. He's probably going to get to Bogdan Guskov's back, rain down, ground and pound, catch the neck. He already almost caught it in round 1. That all being said, Guskov clearly has dynamite in his hands.
Yeah, man, I got to put some respect on Guskov's name. I did not have respect on his name coming into this. Spann was a 3-star lock. We took him on a parlay. I had him on 2 parlays. And we had Spann by sub at plus 180, which, like you said, in the first round, he was on top. He was looking for subs. He was taking the back. I was feeling pretty good about the Spann by sub in round 1. I really was, man. And like I said, we talked about a little bit at the start of the episode, like, don't necessarily regret giving out that pick because, like, it almost happened. The Pat, like, you saw what we were looking at. We saw what we were feeling. Like, it was there to be had. He cut power, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know if we gave enough credit or respect to the power of Guskov's hands, just because I don't know that we've seen it like that or had an opponent that was someone we respected enough to really give him the respect for his power. That being said, in round 2, he started connecting some shots, and you could see like a visible change in Ryan Spann's entire approach to the fight. It was like a mental break for Ryan Spann whenever he got cracked once or twice in the second round.
Man, Ryan Spann, I couldn't help drawing the comparison in my head to Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner and Ryan Spann got some of those mental spiders, some of them cobwebs, just some of those mental blocks, man. Honestly, like I added a new thing to my ranking system. Next to Jalen Turner and next to Ryan Spann, I put do not bet. I'm never putting another dollar on either one of those guys ever. Because this isn't the first time I've lost money betting on Spann. Spann be fumbling.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about mentally when you listen to him before fights, he is a head case every single time in the pre-fight interviews. It's a different Ryan Spann. You never get the same guy, which is the scariest thing on earth.
And we broke another one of our rules. The icing on the cake, the cherry on top, trains at Fortis.
Oh. That hurts.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. We broke the 10 commandments. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
We're gonna get a plague brought upon us.
Damn, it's so crazy how bad of a gym Fortis is. My God. This feels rude, but like their performances from their fighters are dog shit. Their coaching in the corner is dog shit. Like Dean Thomas actually called out one of the coach sets in one of the fights and was saying like, oh, it was the Mark McMahon fight where he was like, yeah, they're telling her what to do, but they're not telling her how to do that. He was like, that's not good coaching. I was like, yeah, good, like way to say that, because like same thing with Saif Saud. He'll tell him what to do, but he doesn't give him any nuance about like how to set it up, and then their opponents hearing him say like, throw the cross and then the counter hook, and it's like, Okay, well, if I see him throw a cross, I'm going to dip out of the way of the hook because I just heard you say that.
No, it almost reminds me of like every like skateboard YouTube trick tutorial ever done is exactly like that. They'll be like, "Oh, all you got to do is this," and it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't really convey the spirit of like yes, technically that is like sound advice, but like not telling you how to get there, like you said, is problematic. But yeah, man, Guskov, performance of the night bonus, second round knockout with a big uppercut, a bunch of unanswered ground and pound, 3 minutes and 16 seconds into the second round. Let's see here. That moves. I had to. It's weird. Light heavyweight is so weird in that middle tier because I couldn't really drop Spann below Felipe Lins and Dustin Jacoby all the way up to like 15. It's just like it's kind of hard. Love Guskov, but that division's so thin and so old and so full of has-beens that like. Guess I got to give Guskov a little benefit of the doubt here. Like maybe he can chin a couple more vets. Like I don't know. How you feeling about Guskov moving forward?
Man, he's got two things that are so valuable at light heavyweight, which is he is unorthodox because you saw him in round one be respectful of Spann's power, keep his hands high, box traditionally, didn't work for him. Round two, he put his hands to the side and said, "I'm going to do what I do and let's see how that works." And he started destroying Ryan Spann. It was like almost kind of Yuri-esque, the way he'll lead his head in, and then he dips really hard out and throws a massive counter, and his hands are fast and heavy. So those two things combined with, so the unorthodox nature with the speed and the power, and then also his age. A lot of these guys are older than him, and like their chins are going to age, and his power is going to stay. I actually kind of like Guskov's future, as weird as that sounds.
No, I agree. Right? It's almost like as much as it's more not liking the rest of the division more so than it is liking Guskov. But
and yeah, and how he matches up with those type guys.
Because like I mean, you got Menefield, 36 years old, similar style. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing him against a Menefield, against a Johnny Walker, somebody like that.
So
I don't know.
So for me, this next week we got Vitor Petrino and Anthony Smith fighting. I think winner of that fights Guskov. Makes a lot of sense to me.
I think if Petrino beats Smith, he's not fighting back to a no-name Guskov, personally. I think if Smith loses, they could do the twin matchup and have like a gimmicky marketing for it.
Yeah, that's probably more likely that Anthony Smith fights Guskov next, unless. Honestly, though, even if Guskov or Anthony Smith wins, he's beating 15. Like, I could see them making Smith fight Guskov and like making it the mirror matchup, like you just said.
You know that? Have you seen the money line on that
I didn't understand what you said, but I'm assuming if you asked me what the money line is, and it's minus 500 for Petrino.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that nuts?
That feels a little high. That feels like Anthony Smith's sprinkle territory, to be quite honest.
For sure, man. Yeah, light heavyweight's in shambles, though. But man, I thought this next women's flyweight matchup was super entertaining. I mean, super high level. I mean, these girls got after it.
It was pretty fun. I don't know. This fight was one where like I didn't think it was that entertaining, if I'm being honest. It was technical, but it wasn't very entertaining because it was very lacking in damage throughout the entire 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Karine Silva did a decent job of like effort into getting damage. Like when she neither of these ladies is going to, you're not going to mistake them for Israel Adesanya on the feet. But I thought Silva wasn't being snoozy. I thought she was going for damage.
Well, I guess we should introduce the fighters too, since they're both named Silva. We have Ariane da Silva, who is also Ariane Lipski. That threw me off hard. Right? That is the same person?
Yeah, she must have got married. I believe she married her coach, which in the words of Sean Strickland, can an MMA coach train a woman without falling inside of them? Yeah. It's yet to be proven true.
Yet to be proven true. But yeah, flyweight women, number 12, Ariane da Silva, plus 145 against number 13, Karine Silva. God, I almost said da Silva right there, minus 175. This was one of those fights where it was weird because both girls seemed comfortable fighting all over the octagon, and I really thought Karine Silva would want to be standing and strike at a kickboxing fight, and I really thought Lipski would want to try to get it to be like a dirty clinch battle. And honestly, it seemed like both girls were kind of just the flow of the fight. Neither one had a preferred place. I'll say Lipski wanted to be on her back.
I'll say this, that I thought it was just fantastic matchmaking. This fight was important for the division. I thought they just were really evenly matched. I mean, from an athleticism perspective, from just a level perspective, from a age perspective. I mean, everything about it. I did like Silva. This money line moved a ton. Karine started off as an underdog, plus 125. And by the time the fight started, it was minus 175. So the public was all over Karine.
Yeah, and we do have some differing scorecards here. I end up with the 29-28 for Karine Silva. Only round I didn't give to her was the third. Now, I could also have the argument here in the third round.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I could argue, I think, that Ariane Lipski, I'm going to keep going with that, I don't care, did more damage in that round than either girl did the entire fight with just the elbows and punches whenever she was getting taken down.
See, I would push back and say that if I had to give Lipski one round, it would be round one. If I had to just gun to my head, I have to give Lipski a round. I'm giving her round one. But I think by how I worded that, I went 30-27 Karine. But if I had to give Lipski a round, it would be round one. She got the reversal, ended the round on top. Karine got the takedown, but then got reversed. Gave round one to Karine, but if I had to give a round to Lipski, I'd probably give one instead of three, personally.
My problem with giving the round one to Lipski is that neither girl neither girl just did any impactful damage, any short instance of any rounds. So there's not this impactful damage moment to go off of for any of the rounds. So without that, then I'm left at control time, and it's Karine Silva got almost 3.5 minutes control in the first round, and Lipski got 1.5. So really the control time isn't necessarily that close. And
well, but you got to tell the story of how it happened. So in round one, Karine gets the takedown early in the round, spends about 3 minutes on top, but then gets reversed and Lipski rides out the round on top. So time for time, but Lipski got the reversal, ends the round on top. I gave it to Karine. But if I had to give a round to Lipski, it would be one. And I thought in round two, Karine actually did that huge body kick as Lipski was returning to the feet. I thought Karine Silva did pretty good damage in round two.
I just hate that that's her best strike of the whole fight. It's a body kick as a girl standing up that presses her, that doesn't knock her back down. It just presses her to the fence. It's just this fight lacked a lot of fireworks. We couldn't be further apart on this fight. Man. For me, this fight lacked fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, I scored 30-27. You scored 29-28. it was a big jump up for Karine Silva. She had been crushing cancer at this point. Karine Silva gets the win here. I think she's 4-0 in the UFC now, undefeated in the promotion. I mean, we got a real player on our hands. I moved her all the way up to 8 in my power rankings.
That's probably right though. That's probably right though. Also, I do have the scorecards here. So 2 judges gave round 3 to Silva. Adelaide Bird agrees with your scorecard, 30-27.
Let's go.
But yeah, as far as what's next, I mean, I think Karine Silva is like actually poised to make a real push in this division. I think she is a player in this division. I wouldn't mind seeing her against like an Araujo or a Hibas. I think the Araujo match would be dicey for her.
Could be. I wouldn't mind seeing Karine fight either Tracy Cortez or Natalia Silva, or even like a Caitlin Sermonara, somebody like that. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with Karine Silva right now. I mean, she's 4-0 with 3 finishes in the promotion. I mean, she's about as hot of a prospect as you got. I mean, maybe outside of Macy Barber and Blanchfield.
Yeah, I mean this division is either half prospects or half like old gatekeepers. Because like if you look at the prospects, you have like Blanchfield, Barber, Natalia Silva, Tracy Cortez, Karine Silva, and then you have some young girls at the back that are just gonna kind of hold the back into the rankings. But then you have these old dogs like Shevchenko, Andrade, now Namajunas in there, Sermonara, Hibas, Araujo. So like for me, I just want to see the young girls get the old girls because I'm tired of these old girls.
We need that turnover.
And we're like perfectly lined up right now. Where like this back end is the youth, and the very top, the best youthful girls are already at the top. But this back end is starting to make its wave through, and I'm pumped for that. Like you said, yeah, Caitlin Sermonara, I don't see that as out of the realm of possibility for Silva. But I do think that based on this last performance, Dana's not going to give her any favors. Because it wasn't the most, like, damn it, like, it just, I don't know. That's a hard sell coming off this fight.
Oh, man, I think you're being a little harsh on her. I think you're being a little harsh on her. But we can agree to disagree and keep it pushing to this dog shit heavyweight fight.
Oh, yeah. Let's keep it pushing the dog shit heavyweights. I'm about it. We have... I hate laughing when I say his name. Austin Lane, plus 260 versus Janata Denise, minus 325. It just feels disrespectful to laugh when you read a guy's name, you know? But that being said, this fight is the definition of why it was a no-bet for us. Also definition of why Austin Lane is absolute can, is by Marnik Man as far as my like pound for pound can tier. Like he has to be close to that.
I think he's number 2. I think it's Man and then Lane on the pound for pound can list. I really do.
And unfortunately for Austin Lane, Marnik Man defended her number 1 spot last night. So like kind of she, you know, if she'd put on a good performance, we might be talking about Lane in her spot, but nope. That being said, man, Lane did win the first round. 10-9 gets the takedown, avoids the damage early. Honestly, not the worst ground and pound, and was in a dangerous position to end the round, like had gotten to full mount. Now, begs the question, did the man blow his wad doing it? Because all of his takedown attempts in round 2 looked terrible. They looked like a football player just trying to hit a tackle.
No, for sure, man. And Lane was a big underdog coming into this one at plus 260. Denise in his debut at minus 325. And yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised to see Lane look so good in round 1. But just like you said, blew his load in round 1. I mean, crazy because it wasn't even that high of a pace, which just goes to prove the can tier.
I know. That's what had me shook is Austin Lane was gassed 6 minutes into the fight, and he was the guy on top, and it wasn't like he was working that hard.
No, like there was no scrambles really. Like he didn't have to work hard for the takedown. Like what necessarily made you tired? Like yes, competing in athletic events will make you tired, but if you're a professional athlete, like, he didn't have to work for any of that. Like, Denise literally didn't even attempt to get up off his back. He didn't have to. Like, what made you tired?
It honestly just shows you D lineman, like NFL cardio is not serious if you're on the interior line. Because you get, I mean, as a D lineman, it should be, but you get subbed out. You only play first and second down, probably Austin Lane did. Or in his case, maybe one down because he didn't last that long. So it's like, I just feel like his background sport isn't like a high cardio sport. Like, it's not like he was a wrestler or kickboxer. Like, he's not used to that sort of heavy, long form endurance. And I wonder how he got to the UFC. I mean, was it because he played for the Jaguars? Because this guy can't fight.
It is. I mean, he's a big guy, heavyweight, needed depth. I think Dana, like, it's cool to have, like, NFL players on the roster. Like, I think he still has that old school mentality of, like, trying to legitimize that we have, like, the best athletes in the world fighting here. And it's like, I think we're past that point. Like, I don't think anybody that thinks that, like, a guy that was on a practice squad is, like, a leaps and bounds better athlete than the guy signed to the top end of the UFC roster. Like, I don't think that, like, we have that, like, hurdle to overcome at this point.
Yeah, absolutely not. And it's like, I don't think that Islam Makhachev is very athletic in a 40 or in a combine. But I do think he's the best fighter at 155 pounds in the world, and that's not even a debate right now. You know what I mean? It's just like, we don't need him to be the best athlete to be the most elite fighter.
Well, and then the word athlete, like, it applies to what sport you're doing, right? Like, I mean, exactly. Like, if you take a goal and make him run a 40 and do a vertical jump, you're going to say he's not an athlete, and then he's going to whip out a gold medal and make you look like a fool.
Right. Yeah, great point. Yeah, it's a great point.
But then, I mean, not beat around the bush, Denise comes out, has a much better second round. Like we said, Lane looked gassed to come out the second round. Denise puts him out with a vicious left hook. Another Brazilian kickboxer with a left hook. But with way worse, like, the Pereira comparisons are going to come, but, like, way worse at defending takedowns, way less dynamic, way less athletic, right?
Yeah, that's my thing is, like, he doesn't seem near as dynamic. Not near as dynamic. And he also is heavyweight instead of light heavyweight. Like, I think Pereira being light heavyweight / 185, a lot of that is the fact that he's cutting so much weight. Because if Pereira was a heavyweight, I don't know that he would be as impressive as he is because, yeah, at heavyweight we expect you to have this level of power.
I'll say this, against Austin Lane he would be.
Yeah.
Against Austin Lane, Pereira, that fight lasts 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. They could fight right now and he'd knock him out.
Yeah, for sure, brother. I mean, Denise does get a bonus. Like, getting a performance bonus in your debut, I mean, it's hard to really knock it, but he did look really bad in the first round, getting dominated by Austin Lane. So, like, I don't know where to feel about it. Well, like, actually, I'll tell you exactly how I feel about it. I have Denise at 25 in my heavyweight rankings, and there's only 37 heavyweights. So, like, I'm not sold.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you put like a 25 asterisk next to because it's like, well, you looked good, but you looked good against the second worst pound for pound fighter we can think of. So take it with a grain of salt. And then beyond that as well, it's also like, I don't love Alexander Romanov, but if Romanov fights Denise, he's just going to sit on top of him for however long he wants to.
Agreed. Now let me ask you this. Who do you have ranked higher, Denise or May?
Man, I might trying to just think about, like, because now I'm thinking about them fighting, like, the rankings independent of themselves, but if they fought, I think Mays probably beats him. Ooh, god damn, they might be like 23 and 25.
I have Mays one spot ahead.
Yeah, they're like literally. Yeah, no,
I literally have Mays at 24, and yeah, for sure. Which is not a ringing endorsement. Like that is not
No.
like we're not shoveling coal into the Denise hot train.
No,
That
absolutely
it
not.
fucking sucks, dude. But we can keep it pushing.
Yeah, it's so bad. Let's keep pushing to a place where I lost a good amount of money, but don't necessarily feel the worst about the bet. We got featherweights. We got JSP, Jonathan, I was trying to say St. Pierce. Jonathan Pierce, minus 140 versus David Onama, plus 120. This is one where me and you both love JSP. Love the number we were getting on him. Took him by decision as well at, what did we get it at? Plus 190?
We got plus 210. Plus 210,
nice.
Yeah.
So felt really good.
It was
felt
good
really
value.
good. Also felt like a fight where I definitely thought the decision was coming. Now, do I think that Onama was a live dog? Yeah, if you go watch our betting video, I actually said that if I was going to get plus 160 on Onama, I was tempted with it. But plus 120, not tempted. Like the JSP by decision. Like the JSP just outright. You know, I thought it was a pretty solid pick. I think we gave it 2 stars, but man, this, and we talked about this a little bit before the show, this is just the story of JSP. If he can just learn to not get reversed, like, bro, stop the body triangle, just throw 2 hooks in, and he can't spin like that because you're holding his hips with your ankles. He got reversed 6 times in the fight, and if you think about it, if he gets reversed only 3 times, he probably wins the fight.
Yeah, and to not make that adjustment on the fly, right? I mean, it's the old school saying like, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Right? Like,
Right.
I mean, and Aljamain Sterling was tweeting during this fight, just saying like, he was like basically saying he was like astonished at like the simple mistakes that JSP was making. Like,
And they also
JSP, the guy known as a grappler. Some mistakes, according to Aljamain Sterling. Aljo was just saying that JSP was making rookie mistakes. That's all I was saying.
All right, we're back.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll go round by round. It is kind of important. David Onama did miss weight, came in at 148.5. I gave round 1 to Onama. The punches were faster. They were sharper. He was defending takedowns. He got 2 reversals and ended the round on top. Hard to give that round to Pierce, in my opinion.
Fully agree with you, man. I gave it to Onama begrudgingly. I say begrudgingly because it was one of those ones where Pierce was doing the right things, and Onama's athleticism and just outright speed was going to be a problem in the first 5 minutes. But if Jonathan Pierce was going to make him keep exploding out of these positions, I was hopeful that was going to show itself in the second and third rounds. All that being said, though, if you think about JSP, this is what I'm saying here is if he doesn't get reversed, let's just say in this round, he probably wins this round by staying on top. Because if Onama can't get back to top position and get away the first time and then end the round on top, I mean, we're talking about a very 50-50 round.
Yep. And then you pair that with round 2, which I thought JSP clearly won round 2. So he just needed one more round in our bed catches.
Right. And going into round 3, you're thinking, all right, he kind of figured it out in round 2. He was able to lock down the control and actually stay on top. Maybe he's figuring it out. Now, granted, he still got reversed, but the time he's getting reversed, he was able to work his way back up, get the takedown again. He was making it a really grimy, murky fight. It was the JSP kind of fight you wanted to see. As a JSP bettor, I'm sitting here thinking, hell yeah, this is how he's going to murk it out in round 3. We're going to get a 29-28 JSP bomb, baby. This is what I need. And unfortunately, Onama just did not get tired. I was astounded by his cardio.
Yeah, man, Onama's good. He's got fast hands. He's got good cardio. A big better kind of like, I don't even call it wrestling, scrambling, grappling, whatever. He makes it work for him. And he's a fighter. He's like a fighter. He's not a like technician. He's a fighter. He's there to fight you.
He reminds me a lot of Charles Johnson as far as like he's good at grappling because he's just so explosive and athletic. it's almost like he's able to do things that most grapplers don't expect you to be able to do. So he's able to get away with those things.
Yeah, I mean, super plus athlete. I think super plus dog. I mean, we've seen Onama in a lot of close fights, and he never gives up. I mean, yeah, Onama's a dog. He's a really good athlete. He's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. And round 3 was a banger. Round 3,
Round
I
3
don't know
was
if you
fun.
saw the memes going around where it was like Holloway versus Gagey from Wish, or like we got Holloway and Gagey at home, like
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
the
Because like
ending
they were
sequence.
just standing
Yeah.
and banging towards the end of the round. Won the damage battle.
See, this is a fight where
Yeah,
like
yeah. Onama won the damage battle in round 3, though. I thought as wild and fun as it was.
oh yeah, I felt like this was one where this is what like Silva and Silva the girls could have been, but there was just not the blood and guts damage. That's what I meant whenever I was saying it was lacking like that entertaining turn, was that all the technique was there, all the position changes were there. I just didn't get like that bloody battle.
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean, credit to these gentlemen. They gave us. I thought this fight of the night. It did. No fight did. But I thought if you were going to give it to any fight, it probably would have been this one. They gave out a fight of the night.
Yeah, so no official fight of the night. But we do get we missed some bonuses here. Guskov, Perez, and Denise to this point did capture bonuses, and no prelim bonuses, which will indicate to you the 4th bonus does come in the next fight. But before we get to that, we do have to talk about what's next for both these guys, because honestly, this was a pretty big win for Onama as far as what's available for him next, in my opinion.
Agreed. I think you could give Onama like a Yusuf Zalal. You could give Onama. I could give him a Sadiq Yusuf.
Yeah, I was thinking more like an Alex Caceres. I was thinking a guy that's barely on the edge of outside the rankings.
Next week we get, or it's either next week or the week after, we get Caceres versus Sean Woodson, which is a great matchup.
That would be perfect. So maybe the winner of that could fight Onama. That would be perfect. And I would love Sean Woodson Onama. Damn, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that Caceres Woodson fight. That's a fun one. That's a fun one. And then as far as JSP, man, I think he's gonna have to fight back. Like I think they could maybe give him like a Chepe Mariscal.
What about Yusuf Zalal?
Silva. You could give him. I mean, you could give him a Yusuf Zalal. Maybe like a Steve Garcia, a Morgan Charrier, Fernando Padilla. Like
Padilla's fun.
You're gonna have to fight somebody back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He was in that position where like he really needed to win this
one. Young killer. Yeah, he did. He did really need to win this one. If he wins this one, he's right back in the mix. But since he lost, he's fighting back for sure. He's fighting a prospect.
100%. This was kind of this fight. It's an unspoken thing where it's like both of these guys were being staged to make a run towards the top 20 of the division, and the loser, unfortunately, has to now hang out in 20 to 30 range for a while.
Agreed. And then we'll keep it pushing to the first bout on the main card. We got Tim Means versus Uros Medic. Means finished at plus 240. Medic coming in at minus 300. I got a ticket in early in the week where I got Medic minus 235. But I also got a ticket in late in the week where I took the minus 300.
Yeah, honestly, man, Medic felt like a great pick. We will both had talked about pulling the trigger on the potential Medic by KO, but had also noted that it's rare that Tim Means gets KO'd. I mean, we haven't seen it in a long time in the UFC for Tim Means. I mean, that being said, this fight does not last a long time, and we can get to it. Uros Medic has absolute dynamite in his hands, left uppercut, just flatlines poor Tim Means, who then has to eat one more shot on the ground before old Herb Dean can lazily step over his corpse.
Yeah, man, and he timed that uppercut perfectly. It wasn't like a swing in and wing in kind of wild KO. It was very like precise, well timed, well placed. I mean, it was high level shit, man. It wasn't fluky. It wasn't brawly. It wasn't like it was high level and precise, and like Medic can strike with the best of them at 170. I think it's fair to say.
Oh yeah, 100%. And as we had just noted too, Tim Means has a solid chin. So whenever you're able to time out and place a shot that's that strong that just, I mean, absolutely sleeps Tim Means. I don't mean to speak down on Tim Means, but damn, that guy got rocked. Yeah, I like Medic moving forward, man. At welterweight especially, this is one of those divisions where when you have powerful hands and you're well-rounded enough, you can be very dangerous.
Yeah, for sure, man. And he gets a performance of the night bonus. And man, I was kind of confusing to power rank Medic after this one, man, because
I agree with you
he
so
does have
much.
the loss to Oral by. And so I arrived at the conclusion that I put him at 25. I put him like behind the RDAs and Daniel Rodriguez's of the world. I did skip him over Nicholas Dalby because Dalby lost to Tim Means. I did a little MMA math there, sue me. But, you know, I put him above Randy Brown. I put him above Max Griffin. I put him above Chidi and Joe Kuwani. But I have him like behind the Zaleski Dos Santoses of the world, behind the Li Jingliangs. I think he needs one more good win, and he's right there with the Neil Magny's of the world.
See, I really think Li Jingliang is a good next fight for Medic. They're both killers in there. Like, they would both just go in, just absolutely gladiator style, just throw down. One of us is not coming out of here walking the right way. So, honestly, after you saying that, would love the Jingliang Medic matchup. And Medic's one of those guys I want to be high on, but it's almost like when you fight these older guys, I don't give you as much credit whenever you get the KOs like that. Because it's like, you know, Father Time is helping you with that.
Agreed. What about, speaking of, he's been fighting old guys, right? What about the guy, both on the come up, Brian Battle? Brian Battle Medic is a heater.
Super fun fight. I hope Battle doesn't think he can test his chin in that fight. I don't want to see Battle go out there and think that he's going to eat those shots.
Yeah, I think that would be a banger. Yeah, but I think Medic is on that level. I think he needs a Battle, a Jingliang. He needs to fight like a top 20, top 25 guy. And then as far as Means goes, I think it's getting pretty close to being a wrap.
He's so long in the tooth, man.
I dropped him pretty low. Yes, exactly. I dropped him all the way down to 44. You know, the Preston Parsons and the Semmelsbergers and the Jake Matthews of the world. Just the guys that, like, it ain't trending upwards. You know what I mean? You can't say can, but you also can't say like has a bright future in the company. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, I would say he's closer to fighting on Fight Night prelims than Fight Night main cards at this point. Tim Means.
And honestly, it might be time to hang it up. I mean,
yeah,
he's 39, fighting at welterweight. I mean, I think that's a big weight cut for him. He's a big guy. He just got knocked out badly. I mean, by the time he fights again, he'll be 40. And then what? He's gonna fight some young lion, some young killer from Uzbekistan or some shit.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like, why you want to go out on your shield like that?
You're not making another run. You're gonna get fed to fucking young killers like Medic. I mean, you know what I wouldn't mind seeing? Him Means versus Jeremiah Wells for the loser goes home.
God, I'd hope it's Jeremiah Wells, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. In that case,
yeah. Oh, I'd be rooting for Tim Means, but I wouldn't probably bet on Tim Means if that makes sense.
Would also agree with you there too. But yeah, I mean that wraps up the 6-fight main card. Man, I almost got caught by surprise knowing that next week, or realizing that next week is a pay-per-view. Because I was thinking to myself, like, man, I feel like we just had a pay-per-view. Because we had a week off. I'm so used to getting 3 or 4 fight nights in between a pay-per-view that this one almost snuck up on me.
Yeah, man. Hey, this is a bold take for a guy who just got his ass handed to him at the sports book. But I've already looked ahead, and UFC 301, from a betting perspective, I like it. I like it. We're gonna get our lick back. We're gonna get our lick back in 301, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm coming for Vegas's ass, man. I'm tired. Well, I've only lost really the 2 out of 9 this year, 2 out of 9 weeks, and you 1 out of 9. But it's like, I'm coming, Vegas. We're coming, Vegas.